Dear judges of the International Court of Justice, my name is Gilberto Morishaw, and I come from the beautiful island of Curaçao in the Caribbean, a constituent country of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, and of course, not represented here. Curaçao is an island that was colonized by the Spanish and also the Netherlands, and after many years of struggling and pushing forward, we have received an autonomous status. That being said, the impact of the extraction of biodiversity and the destruction of our ecosystems has not gone away. And as we are living today within the climate crisis, we also see how the impact of the past has met up with the consequences of the choices of countries, mostly from the global north. We have created a reality of destruction, extinction, and extermination that we live the outcomes of, the impact of today. A country that is outside of the hurricane belt, we are still heavily impacted by extreme weather changes. Climate change and climate weirding has shifted all of the weather patterns that we have been accustomed to. Curaçao, which has often been dry already because of the impact of the destruction of our native forests for paint, is also now impacted with extreme levels of heat. I remember growing up that school was something that was happening every day. We would go, even if it was a bit warm, there was a wind that would cool us off, so it was never that bad. But when I look at my country now today, multiple times a year, schools have to be halted because the weather is just too hot for people to even function in. Weeks of education are being lost. When I look at the local fisheries, which are now being depleted because of how our coral reefs are struggling with the heating. When I look at the impact of the oil refinery of Shell that has been at the heart of Curaçao's harbor, and the health outcomes that has meant for our families, for my own personal family, it fills me not just with fear, but with anger. And I think it's righteous anger, because we see that the international institutions have failed us. And we see that these institutions have not been doing their best to repair and provide the adaptation and the mitigation necessary to avoid even more worse outcomes. And of course, we are not particularly represented in these areas because we are a part of the kingdom that is mostly based here in Europe, here in The Hague. Knowing that, we are coming to you. I am coming to you today, judges, as a representative of a community, but also as an individual, to ask you all to repair the wrongs that were done in the past and provide justice, provide a path to move us forward. Because the reality is that our current reality is not sustainable. And if we want to move forward, we must turn things around. We must impose international law on all participants and countries and nation states that partake within these institutions, but also that have played a role historically in creating the climate injustice, the warming of the planet, the extreme emission outputs that we see today. And now we're here today in front of you, asking you to please make this right. Don't just do it for the countries that can speak, but also for all of us that are voiceless, that do not have the ability to speak to you personally, individually. Like, the voices of my people are calling out, and they're calling for justice. We have a right to life. We have a right to adequate food. We have a right to justice. We have a right to have a future and to have an education and to have hope for tomorrow. And currently, in the status quo, our rights are not being respected. Dear judges, Now, the moment is up to you to make a decision that rights these wrongs and that moves us from a path of destruction and pain and extinction into a future of hope. The role is now here today at the Court of Justice, and it's up to you to address it.